Same as other universities all over the world, research is one of the key focus. But in addition to research, in the UK, there is also an increased emphasis on providing students with a good learning environment and good learning experience in general. There's also increased effort in ensuring that there is equality, not just gender equality, but equality to people, to students who are coming from a different background, as well as widening participation. By widening participation, we mean that we would like to have students who are not just coming out of society background whereby their family is quite rich or their parents are already professionals, but rather we would like students coming out of state schools, the kind of less privileged area, so that if they do well in their study, they would be able to have a place and be educated and make a difference to the world, as opposed to just as opposed to opportunities given to those who are just in the privileged families. So this is actually what I found the key difference in Britain, I find. In terms of feedback, it's actually very important to help students to evaluate their learning progress. So when students has done some learning, they need to know how well they have done. They need to know whether or not there is room for improvement. They need to know whereabout they should actually focus their efforts further. So giving them feedback actually helps them to pinpoint their effort in learning, and then I think that is very, very important. And at the same time, feedback also helps students to know where they've gone wrong, where they have done wrong, where's the gap in their understanding and their learning. So it helps them to learn from their own mistakes, so that when they've done something wrong, this time in coursework or in their study, they will certainly not do it again in future, so that we can see progress on and on and on. By giving students feedback, it will help them to engage in this reflection process in order that, as a result, deep learning, what we call deep learning, can then occur. By deep learning, I mean it's not just learning by remembering something, but rather the knowledge would then be usable by students at the end of the day to apply on other problems. In addition to that, video podcasting also has been used for recording the lectures, so that for those students who actually have been to the lecture but couldn't manage to jot down all the notes, they would be able to use this video podcasted lecture for the revision, and then they can review it afterwards. But for those people who, for whatever reason, maybe they were ill, maybe they just couldn't attend the lecture at that time, they could then be able to get the video of the lecture afterwards and then do self-study. So video podcasting is one of them. Voice podcasting is another. A few years ago in the UK students do not need to pay a single penny for the tuition fee. That was really good because the government subsidized totally, and they're even given a grant and loan to support their study. So they don't really need to pay anything. A few years ago, something 3 or 4 years ago, the government started to introduce tuition fee, and the university can charge up to £3,000 per year as tuition fee. And well, there was some noise about it from the UK students, but in general, it was kind of still reasonably affordable. The reason being that the problem is the universities providing programs, degree level programs, and these are not cheap. And especially if the program does have a lot of other kind of support provided to students in order to enhance their study, it comes with a cost. And it needs to, the money has to be met somewhere. The university cannot really just run a program at a loss year on year, because they will bankrupt. So either the government pay, or the students will need to pay in some way. So earlier, the UK government decided that, okay, they still pay a large amount, but the students will need to contribute £3,000. That means more cost, and at the same time, with the global financial situation, it's actually making it harder for the government to actually pay a lot of money for education, because there are also other sectors that they need to pay money for. So as a result, they decided whether or not it's a good thing. It's difficult to comment. They decided that students will need to pay more in order to get access to education. So now each university can charge up to £9,000 per year. £9,000 per year. The real cost for actually running a university cost is roughly about, at least, even for the most basic, is at least £6,500 per year. So for universities which provide even better learning experience and better support.